Hi guys, so today I'm interviewing Jon Richardson again. Now, I think this is the second interview we've done, Jon. It's not the third. Did we do? No, it's just he's the second, isn't it? Yeah, it is the second. And he's taking time out of his busy day today because I thought it'd be nice to do a catch-up, a follow-on from the interview that we did that would have been about 8 months ago. Is that about right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping most people that are watching this now will have seen the first video. And it's a bit of a case study, really, because it kind of shows Jon's journey. Jon was famously the guy that started a few days before lockdown, the first lockdown. And I think you articulated that, Jon, really nicely in the last interview, the kind of, the thought process that you went through. It was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it?
Yeah, to say the least.
But we covered all of that in the first interview. So just to recap then, mate, do you want to just give a little intro for your business and you?
Yeah, of course. So Overt Digital Media, we, as you say, we set up 19th of March 2020, so 4 days before the lockdown. I spent quite a bit of time researching what the best business model was for me. I always knew it was a passive revenue or recurring revenue model, and after looking at a number of different possible partners, I chose Blam in February. Not looked back since. So took a little while to get off the ground because of a number of factors, but probably I'm 16 months into my journey. The last 8 months have been phenomenal, really good.
Yeah, and that's it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because halfway through from where we are now is where I interviewed you last, and
a
bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's the first 8 months versus the second 8 months being in business. And just to recap as well, it was your first real sort of time being in business on your own.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I'd always been employed prior to that, and always in quite senior roles. So my last role, I had a global role selling big ticket software platforms to the cruise industry. So I was traveling to LA and to Florida and to all around the Med, all in business class, and earning really good money. And I decided that I wanted to walk away from that, just take control of my own life and not have all those sort of sales meetings, those one-to-ones, appraisals, forecast calls, quarterly business reviews, and all of that nonsense that goes with it. So yeah, it's this was it was always going to be a huge learning curve, and it certainly lived up to that expectation.
That's it. It's nothing like going from the corporate world to being on your own, running your own business. It's polar opposites, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So so as I said when we chatted off camera, the goal really of today is to show potential partners what it's like after 16 months in business, and to show partners that are where you were 8 months ago, the potential, because there's something in particular I want to pick up on that we haven't talked about yet that really stands out for me. But before we go into that, when we spoke last time, I could kind of tell you were just at the tipping point, because a lot of partners go through this where I think you just got to the point where you knew what you were doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, very possibly. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that can often happen in business, where you go through the process of learning and making mistakes and finding out what works, what doesn't work, and sort of finding your rhythm. And then there comes this little tipping point, and we call it level 3 of the conscious competence ladder. It's where you just know, do you know what? I've got this. And that really is when things start going. So do you want to sort of talk about your sort of experience from that last call and to now the last eight months?
Yeah, I think sort of November time last year. So it was kind of, the business was growing. It was growing, steadily every month. But I was sort of taking two steps forward, one step backwards. I'd have a good month, and then then people would cancel, and it would just be, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I, then I'd panic and I'd discount massively and what have you. And then November came and had a storming month in November. It just, stars just aligned, and and then December was a good month as well. Not as good as November, but still brought on a couple of 2 or 3 new customers. And then I really sort of took stock over the Christmas period and said, right, okay, where do I want to, I could take stock and not be so reactionary. I could okay, well, let's think about where I want to take this and how I want to do it and where do I want to go. And that was a really valuable exercise. And literally every month every month this year has been my best ever month. With the exception of with May. I had so much to do in May in terms of delivery. I had to actually stop selling. I had to close the doors, hunker down, and actually get everything delivered. I think I had about 12 websites and apps to deliver before I went on holiday at the end of May. But it was, that was a conscious thing, a conscious action to take. And through that time, and I look at that, I think about that time and I think, well, what's the reasons for that? What was I doing differently? And it's still quite a difficult question to answer because it's a gradual process. You just, you have a lot more confidence in the quality of the sites that we sell and the apps that we provide, the quality of the work. I mean, every time I deliver a website, pretty much without fail, the customer goes, wow, that's a lot better than I was expecting. Because we don't charge like $2,000 up front, and it's just sort of 125 quid a month. People have got this expectation. You come back with this killer website, and people are just blown away by it. And so that really built my confidence in the product and the offering and the expertise of the team. And then kind of got this head of steam, and I started getting my first referrals from existing customers, and it was like, oh, okay, well that's an easy win, and that started to build up a head of steam now, and I entered into this month with 8 deals likely to close in my pipeline, which is unheard of. It was always 2 or 3, but this month I've entered into with a good 8 deals into my pipeline, and you become, it just builds confidence, and the more confident you are, the more people will come over to you. And now I've started adding additional money onto additional fees onto the website fee just for my own time and consultancy. And so now I've got this additional recurring revenue of just what's in here, from the experience of the last sort of 16 months. So yeah, I mean, things are looking really, really good now. I'm way ahead of my business plan, and that was the business plan I put in place prior to COVID. So I obviously had to rethink that, but even when I look at that business plan, I'm way ahead of it. So yeah, that's
all. It sets chills down my spine here you say that, mate, because I remember when you came back after Christmas and we had a catch-up call, and you specifically asked for a call to run through your business plan and your numbers. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember that conversation.
Yeah, I do.
You said, that's too conservative. You can do a lot better than that.
Yeah. And I thought, okay, you're obviously just trying to, sort of, yeah, a little bit of that was, you just sort of blowing smoke to sort of build me up and what have you. And I looked at it, and I know I'm quite conservative and risk averse by nature. So, I always err on the same, on the err on caution, the side of caution. But actually, I think probably where I am now is on 6 months, because where am I for? I'm 4 months into my second financial year, and I'm probably where I expected to be at the end of the financial year, if that makes sense. Within 4 months. So yeah, it was too conservative.
So the little thing that I wanted to pick up on that I referred to earlier was, I almost kind of saw the penny drop with you. I remember having a meeting with you, and it was when I was pushing you to charge more.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And because you did go through a period where you were keen to do discounts, and you felt like that's what you need to do to get it over the line. And I was saying to you, look, 200 quid a month website is what you're worth. Yeah. And I remember when that one dropped in.
Yeah, and I didn't believe that until it happened, to be completely honest. And yeah, I just didn't believe it till it happened. And now, yeah, I do discount. If I've got like a sole trader who's just starting out on that journey, just left their job and is not quite sure what they're going to do, I still do discount if I like that person and I think that they're serious. But like, I very, very, very rarely discount now. And actually this month, in terms of volume of number of deals, it's actually down quite significantly, but the profitability, for the profitability of the month is way up. So it's it's completely the right model. And I think you hit these benchmarks, and you think, oh, that's never going to happen, and then all of a sudden it just does, and it's like, wow, here we go. So yeah, it's nice.
I think one of the things that I will say for you, John, and credit to you, mate, is that your attention to your numbers and your business plan is exemplary. Every time we have one of our catch-up calls, you know your numbers, you know what your targets are, and what I like about your story is the fact that it's almost textbook in the linear progression that you've made, the kind of the ebbs and flows, the bottlenecks and the growth is almost textbook. And by the end of this financial year that you're on now, I can pretty much guarantee I know exactly where you'll be, and nothing's going to stop you now, because you've now got yourself a new office, even though you're not in it today. But
no kids.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you've got that, and we're now going to be talking about the next step for you. The conversation we'll be having is member of staff.
Yeah, that is the next, and I'm already thinking about that. And actually, I've got my wife's coming into the business, albeit not full time. So that's already, I'm too busy at the moment. I need that help, and next one is member of staff, and I'm probably about, and again, I'm all about the numbers, right? I'm all about the numbers. I've got, I think I'm probably about a month away from hitting the numbers in terms of to employ that person. And it's, so that's, and in fact, I think, there'll probably be a couple of people in the next couple of months, I think. One on the admin side and one on the sales side. So, yeah.
Perfect, mate. And then we can really start to scale, because, you've got a business model now, you've got the systems, the processes, where you can start to grow that business. And one of the nice conversations we had, and we don't need to go into detail on this now, but what I love is identifying where your destination is. What's the goal? and having those thoughts, because now you know you can do it, and now you know it's just a case of scaling this business. You can actually put a time limit on it and decide what you want to do when you get there. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very exciting, and I know that if all I do is replicate what I've done in the last 12 months, I'll get there. I don't need to get any better. The market doesn't need to get any better. All I need to do is stay static, in terms of my ability in the market and what have you, and I'll get there. Hopefully, I'll get better. The market will get better, and I'll get there a lot sooner. But where the opportunity lies for me, and I don't think and I'm going to drop this on you because we've not really talked about this, is that I within 2 years, hopefully within a year, I'm going to get myself to a point where I'm going to get this business to a point where I don't actually need to be in it. And I'll have salespeople bringing it in, and I'll have admin people delivering on it, and then I'll work a couple of hours a day. And then that'll be it. That's the goal, because naturally I'm quite lazy. So
that's the dream. That's why you've got a business, not a job pretending to be a business.
Yeah, and it's completely achievable with this model. It's absolutely completely achievable. If you'd have asked me that 8 months ago, I'd have said you're crazy. But it is. I'm probably about a year away from doing that.
You know what? That would be awesome, mate. That would be absolutely awesome, because everybody's got their own goals, their own dreams, and I'll work with anybody to get to where they want to go. And to think that you are, you could from start to finish, conservatively 3 years is where you can, make your dreams come true. Have that lifestyle that you could never have had, with your old job, is just awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, 3 years, from start to finish. Oh, it won't be finished, because then it will never be finished. But actually, achieving those goals, is I can see it. I can taste it now. It's
that's awesome, mate. Are you one of those? Come on. Jon, that was fantastic. I really appreciate it. I know you're busy, mate, so I'm going to let you crack on and just say thanks for sharing. I know that a lot of Blam partners and people looking to start their own business are going to be massively inspired by you, mate. You're an absolute legend. The one thing I just want to finish with is that Jon's success and on his journey, this has happened with hard graft. He's persevered. This isn't a sort of do the course and all of a sudden you're going to be thinking about your retirement. Jon's put in the graft to do this. We can only do so much at Blam. It's still down, to your hard work, mate, that you're on the right track.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong. It is. There's some sleepless nights, long hours, sleepless nights, and a lot of head scratching. And but the support you get from the team at Blam is just gold dust. It's just I couldn't have done it without it. Without it, to be honest. And I would be nowhere near where I am today. I'd probably be back in a job again if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you.
I appreciate that. That's much appreciated, mate. We love what we do. We do it for the love of it, mate. It's awesome. It's an awesome job to be in. Brilliant. All right, buddy. I'm going to let you crack on. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you very soon.